Again, my district is really north and east Las Vegas. Don't have any sort of overlap in Henderson, but I did have some questions that were sent to me from a few folks who live in Henderson. One happens to be about the whole transparency issue. I know transparency has been something that's been in the news of late. There's been several issues and even articles talking about the lack of transparency that many Henderson residents are complaining about the HPD. So my question is, what's going on in regards to that issue? I even there was even a quote in the Review Journal from a former deputy chief of the Los Angeles Police Department said that there's an entrenched culture of corruption. So I was giving you this opportunity to address those issues and to to have a viewpoint from your angle. Chief, thank you.
Thank you for that question. Again, Holly Chadwick for the record. Unfortunately, the incidents that people are reading about right now occurred 2 to 3 years ago. And so my job since I got in place was in May 1st was to address all these issues and start moving us on a path forward. That was part of the reason why I changed our internal affairs procedures, because they were not being done correctly. We are being transparent. However, what's being reported is not being transparent. One thing I will address without getting to the intricacies of that case, because I do need you to know that case is scheduled to go before an arbitrator. And so I've been very cautious to not put this out too much in the media, because people do have rights and they have to be handled through a certain case in the court of law. But just so you understand, this case, or this specific incident that's been talked about lately, occurred in April of 2021. Those officers were placed on leave in December of 2021. In December of 2022, it was my understanding that some discipline had been recommended. However, from December 2022 to May 1st, when I got in place, nothing had been done to formalize that, and these officers were still on paid administrative leave. That almost puts them at 1.5 years being paid to be off work. That is unacceptable, and again, something I had to correct. There is never a time where an internal affairs case should take that long. It should really only take a few months to identify the issues, investigate them appropriately, and then present them to the reviewing authority to be decided on. So to answer those questions, I absolutely want transparency, but I also have to balance the rights of not only our community, but those officers involved in these incidents. And just so you know, when I came in place at May 1st, there were a lot of those cases that had not been resolved in internal affairs, which I had to then actively review and make decisions based upon what was placed in front of me. I can tell you from May 1st till now, our process has been re-streamlined to be done correctly, and it's something the officers wanted to. They understand we hold them to a high standard, and the expectation to wear this badge is that you better have a high level of code of conduct. And if you stray from that, there is a process in place to address those issues. They wanted to know that too, and that's why they were involved in making sure this policy was strengthened, so that they know they will be held accountable, but it'll be done fairly and based upon the facts presented to us from a correct investigation.
Just a quick follow-up, Chair. Thank you, Chief, for that commentary. So I have a quick follow-up. So when it comes to the IA division itself and the transition from the prior chief to yours, are there any specific kind of reforms that you've made policy-wise with the division that can streamline these sort of processes and make the department more transparent to the public? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. Again, Holly Chadwick for the record. We did change the entire policy to make sure it is very clear on the officers' rights and how they would be adhered to, but also it's very clear on the policy and what happens when you do get served through IA and how the investigation will go, and then where it goes from there for reviewing authority, and then your rights through your collective bargaining with pre-disciplinary hearings and grievance procedures, and then, yes, through to arbitration. So everything is very clear and streamlined, but it also adheres to their collective bargaining agreements. It adheres to the NRS and their police officer rights, but it also adheres to our strict standards of code of conduct and what is and isn't acceptable, and what we will investigate to ensure that none of that behavior occurs in our department.